Bird, did you wake up from that coma yet or what?
How about you take my strong hand?
Oh, let me get a little tickle of that. What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Will Hunting. It's your boy Brad. The Brett Man is right over there. Today we're going to be giving you a review for the Dead Zone Stephen King flick with Christopher Walken, directed by David Cronenberg, sorry. Excited about it, man. We're on the road to our Summer/Stephen King tournament, 32 of the best Stephen King movies of all time. This was one of the movies we just watched for the first time, both of us. So we figured we'd go ahead and give you a review for it. You picked this one for the review, Birdie. You like this one a lot, I think.
Our way to the Dead Zone. Yeah, dude, I love that song. The link to the bracket will be in the description down below of this video. Just let us know what you think about this movie. Without further ado, Brad, like you said, this was your first time watching, along with my first time watching, and I'm dying to hear your thoughts about this.
Well, don't spend too much time in that dead zone of yours. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, so I like this. This, like I said, I've never seen this before. It's about a dude played by Christopher Walken. He wakes up. Well, first off, he goes into a coma after a car accident, and then he wakes up several years down the road, and he's got this ability to like see people's futures and shit, and like
in the past.
Yeah, I was gonna say like past. Some kind of little secret something about him. When he shakes their hand or touches them in some way, he finds out on accident. Interesting story. I like the idea. I like it a lot. I think it's creative, and it's just what you'd come to expect from a Stephen King flick. It's not really horror per se, but it does have a lot of dark like themes to it. It's got some creepy moments for sure. I mean, I would say it's like it toes that line with horror and like thriller. I would say it's there.
Right. Kind of like the Silence of the Lambs and Seven and kind of like those films like that. Like, I actually agree with you on that. But dude, just really think about it. How scary would it be if you possessed the power to read people's futures and their past, and all those people are trying to bother you and all that? Like, would you actually help them?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I think you feel the need that you'd have to. I like the way that obviously in general, this was like it's a kind of a different role for Christopher Walken. Like we've seen him in like a lot of other stuff. I mean, he's been in a lot of things. He's been
like the side guy, but this movie, he was really the guy. And that's why I will go ahead and say that Christopher Walken is actually my favorite performance was this movie as Johnny Smith.
I agree with that, man. I think because he's the lead, and he has to go through a lot of different things. He's portraying a dude that has to, basically anytime he uses this ability, it takes a toll on him, and he still feels the need to do it. So every time that he does something to help people out, he takes a hit from it. But you can tell that he's conflicted about it. He doesn't know how to handle it. I like that a lot. And that all really comes down to the performance that he gives. I like that first time he figures it out when that nurse is in there and then he sees her daughter like in a house that's on fire, a little girl. That was creepy. And that just set the tone for what we can come to expect anytime this guy goes and shakes hands with some other person.
And how quickly the nurse got to that house, or everybody, how quickly they got to that house, because we know how quickly fires burn, dude. So really, honestly, how did the girl survive? Like literally, like that room was freaking flaming, dude. So
Flash.
Like I'm not I also like like you said, the trials he had to face throughout this movie. The first one being wake up from the damn coma, second is to learn to walk again and to deal with feelings and to lose pretty much his perfect life all down the drain. Like his dream girl's gone, his future's gone. Like, dude, he pretty much woke up as a brand new person, has to rebuild everything again. I can't even imagine, like, if I woke up one day and I had to just start all over with everything, I'm not sure how I can comprehend with it.
Yeah, his girl's done moved on, found another dude, got married, he had a kid, kind of like Tom Hanks in Castaway. He still finds his purpose in life. He does that. The one thing I would say about the movie that I didn't really like is how much it bounces around. Like, I just feel like the story is not very like cohesive. Like it's like, I mean, it is in an extent because it's just telling this guy's story and how he has to do all this stuff. But I feel like it jumbles a lot. And the main plot of this having to do with the senator played by Martin Sheen, at least the finale, I should say, not necessarily the main plot, but the main like the climax. It isn't introduced until like 2/3 into the movie, really. He's bouncing around solving murders and like doing all this other stuff before it gets to that point. And I get you got to take some time to learn what his powers can do and how he can live with them. But I would have liked to see them kind of introduced that climax segment a little
like
bit
an
earlier.
actual main story.
Yeah, and focus on it a little bit more. I thought the whole movie was going to be about him solving that murder of the chick. And
Mhm.
that to me is what I thought the whole movie was going to be. He was going to touch cigarettes and be like, "Whoa, I felt something," and like, like just find a way to get that murder resolved. But that happened pretty quick. Next thing you know, he's out there with there's kids falling through ice and all kinds of other things that he starts to deal with.
Yeah, and I also feel like it kind of gets shortened it down too. Like with like the time length, I think you could make this a little bit short by taking out some kind of scenes that he's like helping out people. Because like the fire one, looking into his doctor's past, the pretty much the murder, and then like you say, like the main actual story, that's kind of plenty with me. The stuff he did with the Ever people, he kind of really could tone that down. Just for me personally, like the main story, it could have developed. Like we could have seen Martin Sheen like at the beginning of the movie, kind of like not only like building along Christopher Walken's character from beginning to end. We could also go Martin Sheen's character, see him being evil, conniving, and watch him rise to the cream of the top of his political gang of what he is going to do. So it could make like us like not like him even more, like we do not want him to succeed versus just everything happening so rapid fire speed. Like I wasn't a fan of that. That's why it holds it back from being perfection.
Yeah, that's the way it feels like to me like it's trying to pull too much from the novel. I haven't read the novel, but I'm sure everything that they put in there is straight from the book. And I felt like maybe they felt compelled to put in more stuff than the movie really needed to make the movie work.
Mm-hmm.
So they're taking all these little side plots that you would get in the novel and putting it into the movie. Dude, what about your boy, man? David Cronenberg?
I
I know
was
he's not
just about to Dan mention that. Quit shaking my hand, damn it.
I know
Oh
you're a
man,
huge
but
fan of his filmography to date. One of your favorite directors working today.
oh
Top
man,
5 at
dude,
least.
yeah. Let's just say I don't have the greatest track record with David Cronenberg, even though honestly, the last two movies I watched with him, I actually really enjoyed. Which that being The Brood, watched that for an episode of Back from the Dead live stream I had to do, and then this movie right here with the Dead Son. When I was watching, it's like, oh, this is going to be a great time. Directed by David Cronenberg. Fuck. Uh, but no, actually, seriously, Fo, I think if he could stay away from like the weird stuff and all that, and just focus on like a good story, David Cronenberg is actually really good at directing and all that. Like, I give the guy his facts. If he wants to make something weird, he can attract a certain audience. I'm not that particular audience, with the little small exception of the Fly remake. I thought that body horror, I think, is phenomenal. Everything else just either okay at best to like, yeah, get Crimes of the Future away from me, damn it. Even though I know that's not him, but that still runs in the Cronenberg
That was
family.
him.
So.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
him.
okay. Well, fine. Yeah, there we go. Bam.
By no means am I a David Cronenberg connoisseur. I've barely seen any of his movies, like a couple of them. But this to me does feel like a departure for him. He's usually doing the more gross, like body horror stuff, like you were saying. This is more of a little bit more of like a psychological kind of thriller kind of thing. But like you said, he does a great job of giving us some like atmosphere in here. It feels very moody. It's dark. The whole movie feels kind of just twisted and eerie and stuff. And I like that a lot. Music plays into that too. I thought the music was good for the most part. Overall, it has that kind of tone about it that I really like. Unforgiving, shit's fucked up, and we're not afraid to get a little dark kind of tone. I like that.
No, dude, I really enjoyed that too, especially like during the murder stuff. That's when, to me, it was at its most darkest and most eerie. And kind of like you, I thought that was the main part of the story too. So when we went from that to like the political guy, the president, press the button and all that, like, okay, but dude, but the final, like the final act of the final scene, I thought all that was spectacularly well done.
Yeah, I did too. The way it ended was all good. I like that. Yeah, I totally would have bought it if they were like, "Hey, man, this was just an asshole dude that got a coma, and now he's gonna go solve a murder, and that's the story." I'd be like, "Oh, cool, nice, I like that."
I think this is, I wouldn't say close to perfection, but like because of like what we talked about, like just, fleshing out the story better, making like a clear direction versus just taking us on twists and turns. Like, it's like, okay, do I go this way or do I go that way? I know I should have made a left turn to Albuquerque. If they would just clean that up, I feel like then that could be a golden reel for me. But without that, though, this to me is a 4.5 out of 5. Still a strong movie that I really will appreciate. Maybe I'll enjoy it more on a rewatch, but I think this movie can do very well in the Stephen King movie tournament.
Yeah, I think it's got a good chance. I think I'd probably sit it. The story thing does hold it back quite a bit for me, just because it wasn't as cohesive as I would like. But I still like. I mean, Walken was great. I'd still give it probably like a 3.75 is where I'm going to put it. 3.75 out of 5.
What do you all think about the Dead Zone? Do you want to enter the Dead Zone? That is, seriously, what do you think about the movie? Do you really enjoy this movie? Do you think Christopher Walken knocks it out of the park, or do you have some concerns? Oh, I see what you did there. Oh, well, even though you ain't walking in this movie. But do you have some problems with this movie? Let us know in that comment section down below. Let's keep that discussion rolling. And of course, if you want to fill out your bracket for the Summer Slash tournament for best Stephen King movie of all time, that bracket link is in the description down below as well.
And if you want to help us find the good reels, you can do so by finding us at all of the links to our descriptions. Our socials are right down there in the description, I should say, including a link to our new channel, Beers with the Bros, which will be debuting soon. Check it out. It's down there.
I'm gonna have to start putting it down there in that description, but I'd be happy to do it, man. We're freaking excited on that opportunity. We're excited for Summer Slash. We're excited for much, much more on Good Will Hunting. So yeah, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit those notification bells, so you absolutely can keep up to date exactly all the goodness you're getting at Good Will Hunting.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get on out here. Brad, I'm going to take me a little drive, man. So I will see you in 5 years.
Yeah, be careful out there. Don't slip. No!